Hi, my name is Londyn. I am here with my mother, Jessica. The date is December 6, 2025. We are recording this interview in Chicago, Illinois. Hi, Jessica / Mom. How was your day?
The day is going.
Great. So, I have some questions I want to ask you about me and also yourself. So, the first question is, do you remember what was going through your head when you first saw me?
That's loaded. I said, wow, she's the complexion of my mom, and she's very tiny.
Well, that's that's a lot.
Well, actually, no. So I thought that you were like a little China doll because, you were really, really small and really pretty.
How much did I weigh when I first was born?
5 pounds, 6 ounces, 9 ounces.
Okay, the second question is, are you proud of me?
Of course. Hands down. With everything that you've done. I could not have asked for a better person to be my person.
Okay, that's really nice. So, what are like some things that you wanted to do as a kid, or like what are some things that you wanted to do as a kid that you wish you could do now?
So let's see. I am very much so impressed by your artistic capabilities, your abilities to dance, the way in which you are able to sing, your drawing abilities, your fearlessness, the fact that you are able to, just this summer when you gave headshots when we went to the shooting range, it kind of tapped into like the inner Sagittarius in me, and that's something that I've always wanted to do as a kid. And the fact that you were able to do that without any practice, you're just fearless. And even if you are shy about it, I feel that you, because I don't allow the word no, or I don't allow you to feel like you can't do anything, then that kind of gives you the drive to go through with so much. So if I could say, to sum it up, that maybe things that I wanted to do that I was shy about doing, because I don't let you live through that fear, you're able to do so much more. That's what I'll say.
That's really nice. So, what are some things that you do for work? Or, like, what is your profession or job?
I am a LPN. I currently work in the psych and geriatric portion of nursing. LPN is a licensed practical nurse for the state of Illinois. And I work with crazy MFers. I can't say that. I'm sorry. Okay. I work with a lot of crazies. A lot of people who, just if you say hello, they'll punch you in the eye. But and a lot of times it's not necessarily the patients, it's the people. And you guys will learn that when you get older. You can deal with the actual work. It's the co-workers that you have a hard time dealing with. But as far as nursing goes, I do a lot of catheters. I administer medication. I do a lot of telling people what to do. And I didn't know that the job was going to entail that. I could tell you that much.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. So the third question is, what would you give me advice about on raising my own kids?
You don't have to do it a lot to prove that you're good at one thing. Meaning, you don't have to have a lot of children. Children are expensive. Don't and before you have children, so I read recently or heard recently, you cannot pick your family, but you can choose who you have children with. So therefore, you kind of can pick your family. So, with that being said, learn early the red flags in life. Learn early to listen to your gut, and don't go having children right away. Enjoy all of 20 and pretty much all of the vast majority of your 30s kid free. You want to be able to travel. You want to be able to do everything that you want to do. Think about it like this. You are my brokest best friend, right? And I pretty much don't say no to anything that you want, right? No, I'm asking. It's not rhetorical. Okay, so you don't get told no. So that means that if you have multiple children, like a lot of kids, imagine me having to do what I do for you for like 4 kids. That means somebody may or may not get something, right? Mm-hmm. And you got to think about that. You want to be able to give a certain amount of love and pour into your kids. And I don't personally feel you can do that with, I'm going to be honest, over 3 kids. Because you have to give, so you're only one person. And you have to give up so much of you to be a great parent. Also, finances make a big deal about this. Don't have more kids than you can afford. If you know that, hey, I want to have this lifestyle, and we know how London is, right? And you know that you want to be able to provide that same lifestyle for your child, you can't do that with a lot of children. But do I think, what was the question? I have a little ADHD.
What advice would you give me about raising my own kids?
Be patient. I didn't appreciate the certain stages of you when you were little. And when the time comes and it's like now you're 15, you don't get that back. So just be patient. Kids have never been here before. They make mistakes. Don't yell at them for everything. And I didn't really whoop you, so you don't have to discipline with hitting a child. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily agree with that. Maybe popping a hand or something, like if they touch a socket, but...
Of course.
But the best lesson with that is the shock.
Question number 4. What were the hardest moments you had when I was growing up?
Hardest moment. The hardest moment growing up was me actually going through nursing school. Mm-hmm. So I've always had pretty decent jobs, you know, that were, that paid well. So I did construction, electrical construction. I worked as a bus operator. But making the choice to go to nursing school or complete nursing school, that, and you don't even remember that because you have such a healthy support system. You know you got allergies, Londyn. You have such a great support system with our family that you don't see, you never saw it. Mm-hmm. Like you weren't affected by the actual struggle of me going through nursing school. So that was a hard time for us. However, it got better in the end because I ended up getting a better job, and honestly, Papa is what got us through nursing school. Working for Papa. I was his home care aide, by the way. but he was a veteran, so he got great benefits, and I was able to really get a nice bag and finish school. So it worked out in the end.
Sorry, guys, if you hear a dog, he has allergies, so don't mind him.
Okay, go ahead.
I think there's about 2 more questions. What was I like as a baby or as a young child?
As a baby, the absolute biggest crybaby that ever was known on the face of this earth. I mean, you would be quiet in the car just to get into the daggone store and scream to the top of your lungs. And it would just blow me. I mean, you will wait until sometimes I would just leave the store. Because it's like, I couldn't deal with that. And I wasn't. Like, okay, so we just, you know what? We're not even going to grocery shopping because you just already just had a big mouth. So, no, and I'm serious. You were a crybaby. But then one day, I do remember, I don't think I knew what I was doing either. So, Granddad, I wanted to get some sleep. I was so sleep deprived because you just would not shut up. And Granddad came and got you. And I think that was my first time getting 4 or 5 hours of real sleep since I had you. And you weren't colicky. So, because you were breastfed. So I didn't have like those issues with your stomach or anything like that. And you weren't a sick kid. You were just a little premature, but you weren't sickly. But you cried so much. Oh my goodness. I was so happy when that phase was over. But now knowing what I know, I understand why you were a crybaby. So, but yeah. That pretty much sums it up. However, I will say you didn't go through a terrible 2. Like, once that phase of you crying and that little whiny baby phase was kind of over with, you were a very genuinely happy kid. You did not, I didn't have those type of issues with, like, the stages of terrible 2. Somebody could literally tell you, like, Londyn, don't do this, and you just didn't do it. I didn't have to repeat, and you're still like that today. So it's very easy, and that's my gamble on having another child, because the fact that you are how you are now, and it's like, that's a gamble. What if the
Teenagers.
What if the next kid comes and they don't listen? It's like, I don't have time for that.
Also, guys, that's my Nana in the background.
Okay.
The last question is, how did you choose my name?
So, honestly, your name was going to be Catherine.
Catherine?
After your grandma, Catherine. Yeah.
Catherine. That's a shocker.
I was going to name you Catherine. However,
Ew.
don't ew. However, I always wanted to go to London. I don't know why I had such a fascination with the I don't even know if I really wanted to go to London or if I really wanted to go to Scotland. But some type of way I wanted to get over to the Eurasia part of the world, with Europe and all of those places being over there. However, I definitely wanted to stop on the tour of London. So, and I kind of just liked it, the fashion, the everything, and by us being, black for sure, putting a YN in there, you know what I'm saying, just kind of made sense.
What?
Instead of the ON. It's just my own little way of doing something, only to come to find out, I think at that time, Londyn was actually a popular name. And it had a pretty ring to it. However, a lot of boys were named Londyn and not girls. Ashley came about because I loved the way that Ashley was spelled. And I didn't want to spell it the traditional way.
ASHLEY. L-Y.
Right, L-E-Y.
L-E-Y.
I didn't want to spell it that way, and I like the way Ashley was spelled. And do you remember Jessie?
Jessie?
From Hey Jessie from Disney?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think like the third influence of that, and you kind of act like her, believe it or not. Remember Londyn Tipton?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
From that Jessie?
Mm-mm. I don't remember
You
that
have to go.
episode.
She was like, her dad was the billionaire or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that
Yeah.
episode.
And no, she was like the show.
Oh, okay.
Ashley was one of the girls. Matter of fact, I think their name was Ashley. Well, her name was Ashley Tisdale, something. And anyway, from a Disney Channel, and I was a kid, I was young, but nonetheless, however, Londyn is how I came up with Londyn Ashley. But your name actually was supposed to be Catherine.
Catherine?
Named after your grandma. That's who I wanted to name you after. Mm-hmm.
So my full name was going to be Catherine Ashley Harris or Paul?
Paul. I know who your daddy is.
I mean, I no, like I'm saying, like which name, like which last name was I going to get?
It's the same last name.
Oh, okay.
But when I had you, somebody, I don't even remember her name, but she told me, she was like, ooh, she was like, what's her name? And I said, Londyn. And she said, Londyn who? I said, Londyn Paul. And she was like, oh, she's going places. And you were like 3 months. This was maybe a 3-month checkup or something. And right here at the university. And that lady is so right because you are just so talented. And it's like, it won't go unnoticed. You have a lot of greatness about you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I listen to a concert every morning, whether I want to or not.
Okay. The last and final question is, if you had to relive a moment, would you and why?
I don't have regrets, so no. Because to relive any moment, it would be minus Londyn. So, I'm cool. I'm cool with where I got.
So, minus giving birth to me, you wouldn't want to relive anything? Like, one of the best moments in your life?
No, I don't have regrets.
Cool beans.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, that wraps up our interview. Thanks
I
for
do.
listening.
Oh.
Bye.